All right, let's just jump right in. What we're looking at today is this really fascinating case study. I mean, it might just be the new blueprint for creative entrepreneurs out there. We're talking about building an empire, not with, bricks and mortar, but with bits and blockchains. And get this, that bold prediction, it comes from the artist right at the heart of our story, Idris Busari. It's a really powerful statement, and it perfectly sets the stage for what he's trying to do. A quest that's just as much about technology as it is about art and culture. So this really is the big question, isn't it? I mean, how do you do this? How does a musician turn digital art and a domain name into a $100,000 empire? It sounds kind of like a fantasy, right? But the playbook we're about to break down, it lays out a surprisingly clear path. It's all about taking that raw creative passion and turning it into a real modern business. You know, every great quest needs a hero, and our hero today is Idris Busari. He's a Nigerian-American artist, and you could call him a modern-day digital griot, a storyteller. He's not armed with a sword, but with something way more interesting: Afrobeats music, a deep lore inspired by Yoruba mythology, and a vision for Web3. You know, that next evolution of the internet. So what's so cool about this is how all these different pieces just click together. It creates this really deep, cohesive universe, what you'd call intellectual property, or IP. His artist name is Omogo Reloaded, and he's not just dropping Afrofusion tracks. No, he's building a whole world. You've got his record label, the AfroWarriors NFT collection, this whole story about the hidden city. It's all under one big umbrella, Afrobeats.web3. It's this mix of ancient tradition and super futuristic tech that's really his core asset. Okay, so we've got the story. Now let's put on our strategist hats for a minute. If you're going to build an empire, first you have to map the territory, right? We need to do a quick audit of his digital kingdom, dig into the data, and see where the treasure is buried, and also where the weak spots are. And this first number, it's kind of staggering. Get this. Idris owns over 2,500 Web3 domains. Now, these aren't your typical .com addresses we're all used to. These are unique, blockchain-based addresses that he owns completely. Think of it less like registering a name and more like buying up digital real estate. Every single one is a potential storefront or a fan club, or even a unique address for a future AI assistant. This is literally the foundation he's building his digital empire on. But here's the reality check. The floor price for one of his core AfroWarrior NFTs is currently, well, it's a tiny, tiny fraction of a cent. And this number really hits home on the core problem here. He's got this immense cultural and artistic value, but there just aren't enough buyers and sellers in the market yet. The potential is absolutely massive, but for now, it's just that, potential. And you can see that same challenge reflected right here. On Base.app, which is his main social hub in the Web3 space, he's got 55 followers. Now, that's a small, probably very dedicated group, but let's be real. To build an empire, you need an army. This number tells us, loud and clear, that growing his audience has to be priority number one. So let's pull all of this together with a classic SWOT analysis. This really gives us the full 360-degree view. Okay, on the strength side, it's undeniable. He's got unique cultural IP that no one else has, plus that massive portfolio of domains. But the weaknesses are just as stark, that low NFT value and almost no social traffic. And those two are directly connected, right? Now, the opportunities are huge. He could ride the coming wave of AI in music and tap into African markets that the big labels have pretty much ignored. And of course, you've always got the threats looming, the crazy volatility of crypto and, changing regulations. So the whole point of this playbook is to use those strengths to jump on the opportunities while trying to patch up the weaknesses and guard against the threats. You know, in every hero's quest, there's that moment where they find a magical sword or a secret map. Well, for our digital griot, the secret weapons are these powerful new tools proposed in the playbook. These are the things that could totally amplify his strengths and just blast through his weaknesses. First up, we've got AI agents. And listen, forget those simple chatbots you've talked to. We're talking about autonomous programs that can actually do things on his behalf. Seriously, think of them as his digital warriors. It fits right into his AfroWarriors lore. These agents could be creating music remixes, running marketing campaigns, even managing sales on the blockchain, basically scaling his one-man show into a 24/7 global business. Okay, weapon number 2, creator coins. This is a huge part of this new thing called social fi, or social finance. And this is, well, it's pretty revolutionary. He can issue a token that's linked directly to his profile. And suddenly, his fans aren't just listening to his music. They can buy in. They become direct investors in his creative journey. When they engage, it literally funds his next album or his next NFT drop. And this slide right here, it just perfectly shows you why this is such a game changer. Look on the left. That's the old school system. Artists, especially in places that are underserved, can lose 70% or even more of their money to middlemen. It's just a leaky bucket. Now, look on the right. That's the Web3 model. With SocialFi, the creator can keep 90% or more. Why? Because smart contracts on the blockchain handle all the payments automatically, cutting out a ton of those intermediaries. This isn't just a small change. It's a complete flip of the economic model. It puts the power and the profit right back in the artist's hands.
All right, so we've got our hero, and he's got his new secret weapons. But how does he actually use them to win over fans? Let's dive into the actual tactics from the playbook for building a loyal, engaged community.
Check out this simple but really powerful inbound funnel. Step 1, he creates content that goes deeper into the story of the hidden city. Step 2, he tokenizes that post on base.app. What that means is he turns the content itself, the story, the video, into a unique, tradable asset that fans can actually buy and own on the blockchain. Step 3, as fans start trading this token, it just generates buzz and visibility. And finally, step 4, he rewards the people holding the tokens with exclusive stuff, like new music or NFT airdrops. You see, it's this self-funding loop where telling his story directly pays for itself.
But he can't just wait for fans to find him, right? So the playbook also lays out some pretty aggressive outbound tactics. This is all about taking the art directly to the audience. And you can think about it in two ways, digital and cultural. On the digital side, he could airdrop free music NFTs right into the wallets of big crypto collectors, getting his stuff in front of people who are already proven buyers. Then, on the cultural side, he could team up with Yoruba influencers who can talk about his art authentically, connecting with the very communities his lore is built on. Every one of these moves proactively pushes his universe out into the world.
Okay, it's time to put all the pieces together. We've looked at the assets, the tools, and the tactics. Now, let's look at the final blueprint for this Web3 empire, the vision for a sustainable, high-revenue multimedia brand. And here's the roadmap to actually make it happen. This isn't some vague dream. It's a series of concrete, achievable milestones. In the first 3 months, the goal is to get those creator coins live, launch the first marketing push, and aim for that first $5,000 in revenue. Then, by 6 months, it's about scaling up to $20,000 by locking in partnerships and bundling his music with NFTs. And the big one, within a year, the goal is to have the full playbook running, expand into the metaverse, and hit that $100,000 plus annual revenue mark. It's ambitious for sure, but it's totally actionable. So we kind of end up back where we started, but now with a much, much clearer picture of how this could all work. We've walked through the entire playbook, step by step. And I guess the question that's left for all of us is this just a really complex digital fantasy for one specific artist? Or is this a blueprint that could work for the future of every creator out there who's looking for real control over their own work? That's definitely something to think about.